right, let's see what's going on. I guess we clocked in. Make sure you guys can hear me. Hey, what's going on, party people? Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's definitely a pleasure to have you here. I go by the name of Lespri. I am a spiritual healer. And basically, as a spiritual healer, what I do pretty much is that I help people to become mentally and emotionally balanced. And the whole idea by me getting you to become pretty much whole or to become in harmony with your own self is for you to attain your highest state of consciousness. In other words, it's for you to become Christ like. The Krishna, Buddha, it goes by many different names, but the whole idea here is for you to become more conscious and more aware. And in a nutshell, as a spiritual healer, the word spiritual in itself, derives from spirit, which is also addressing another aspect of yourself. So therefore, I help you to get in touch with that other side of yourself too. I mean, in fact, well, two, meaning, you know, um, the conscious and the subconscious part of you. So now that's pretty much what I do. Now, when I'm talking about, let's just say, helping you to become emotionally balanced, what that is pretty much is for you to acknowledge, to understand your emotions. It's for you to know what emotions are, to identify your emotional pattern, and at that point, if there's any, let's just say, blockages, you'll know exactly what to do. So it's to master your emotions, and that's what I'm referring to by becoming, emotionally balanced, and that's pretty much what I help you to understand, right? Now, in addition to that, just like I was saying, I also help you to become mentally balanced. Now, becoming mentally balanced, give me a second. The same principles apply in terms of, it's important for you to understand how your mind works. I mean, it's you becoming more aware of your intellect. But for you to do that, you would have to understand how your intellect worked, but most importantly, how is it being shaped? How is it being conditioned by your environment, society, culture, the political fucking arena? Because all of these things, they have a direct impact on how you think. So for you to become mentally balanced, it's important for you to, you have to understand how these things work and how they influence you. And that's why I always tell people, your spiritual life is your very fucking humanity. It's the regular life that you're talking about, that you're living right now. I mean, I'm not saying some shit for, like, let's just say somehow you become a different person. I mean, you may in terms of more attaining more consciousness, but what I'm trying to say here is like it's not some alien shit that I'm talking about here. And I guess without me getting too much ahead of myself, and I'll be talking about spirituality, I mean, it's your regular life. The reality, what I'm truly doing here in your regular life, it's giving you a deeper understanding of that ordinary bullshit. You walking around scratching your ass, getting some fucking food and whatever the fuck, dick and pussy, whatever. Now, becoming more conscious or you becoming spiritual, now that has to do with you acknowledging, you know, other aspect about you. In other terms, you're becoming more conscious. So understanding how your intellect work along with your emotions, now you have a broader perspective about you. And that's how you become pretty much like you attain the Christ consciousness. That's all the shit is. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't like I'm living a different life. Like it is a different reality in terms of my consciousness, but it's the same space. That's why the Indian call the space that we're living in, they call it Maya, a world of illusion. And as you even getting to know your own nature, you realize that you are spirit, meaning you more than dick and pussy. And in fact, that's what we're talking about, what we're talking about now. It's another way of acknowledging that we are what we appear to be and more. In other words, like there's more to us than what we appear to be. Well, that's what the fucking illusion is. Then you have a lot of people who are pretty much stuck on that physical plane. So then we come to understand you stuck in the physical plane because you don't really understand it. Because to truly understand you the physical plane, that's how you transcend it. I want some bullshit tonight. But anyway, that's pretty much what I do. Now, if you're coming back, you already know we got some shit to talk about. Yeah, I've been on some shadow shit lately. I don't know, man. I've been on some shadow shit lately. You know, a lot of my downloads been coming that way because I'm tapping into certain shit and I mean, and us, and as you see in the title, we're gonna be talking about the shadow project, like the projection of the shadow. And this shit is deep. But anyway, welcome back, motherfuckers. You already know it's nothing but love. You know what we do here, baby. Get your smoke. Come get your medicine. You hear me? I got it. Now, with all of that being said, as part of the routine, guys, I always take a minute to tell you a little bit about spirituality, right? Because as a spiritual healer, if this is your first time here, spirituality is my foundation. It's my to go guy. It's my to go shit that I go to. I mean, in other words, this is part of my makeup, but that's how I got my perspectives, right? I'm just putting all my cards on the table. I'm coming clean, niggas. I'm saying I'm just trying to stay pure. But anyway. So spirituality, I mean, shit, like it's you. There's no other way of saying that. But unfortunately, due to, let's just say, misconception or ignorance, we always look at spirituality as almost like it's something that's outside of you. You can't really, it's not part of your direct experience. So as a result, it sounds like, I mean, it's not like I'm talking about a football game. I'm saying, did you see the fight Saturday night? I mean, you would be a lot more relatable to that rather than if I was, I mean, if I were, as I'm talking about spirituality now, it's almost like, okay. So that's fucking ignorance. That is a misconception of what spirituality is. And first of all, you can't even relate to it. This is to show you how detached you are to your own nature. Do you see what I'm saying? Because what spirituality really does, it tells you about your story. It's being said in different ways, in different forms, different terminology. Let's say you could say Buddha, then you could say Christ, however term you choose to use. But ultimately, it is, telling you about a deeper, like you. So I don't think I'm gonna have to. I need to go too far into that one. Um, yeah, like besides you understanding, I guess what I'm saying, I'm trying to relate to your disconnection or how you may feel that spirituality is not part of your life. So it's important for me to address that because what I'm being a spiritual healer, this is some real life shit. If you have an issue, let's just say you go see a shrink, these motherfuckers will start asking you about shit that happened to you when you were a fucking kid. Well, that's reflecting to your shadow self. In the occult, we call that the wounded child. So this is your regular life. I mean, a lot of people are now saying, well, us black people, we need to, to talk to somebody. Yeah, all that shit. It's reflecting, this is you also acknowledging a higher part of us. Well, I mean, at this point, I don't even know if I should call it higher, but let's just say a deeper side of us. But if you're ignorant, then you don't understand, how why people do certain things sometimes. All of that is part of your nature. When people are being triggered, even you having to do your shadow work. Well, that's self-healing. Then you understand there's a deeper aspect of you that requires a lot more work, that requires a little more consciousness. And that's what we do in spirituality. Now, we have the occult, which is pretty much dealing with those sacred texts or sacred wisdom. I just call them manuals, for you to understand you. Oh, excuse me. Those are just manuals. Because even if you read something, let's just say, like, I'm not sure how familiar some of you may be with the Kabbalion, which I strongly recommend. This is self mastery. That's what the occult is dealing with. You'll notice there's always a sealing, hermetic. There's always something sealed. There's always something closed. Now the occult, we're dealing with that hidden culture, which is that other aspect, that deeper aspect of yourself. That's all that shit is. So there's no way spirituality will be something outside of you, but if you're ignorant to your own nature, get it. I understand, dog. You know what I'm saying? But one thing you're not gonna do, it make me feel like, or even trying to convey the idea of, like, I might be talking about some crazy shit or some strange shit or some irrelevant shit. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know who the fuck you are. Nah, that's on you, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? That's on you, bitch. This is the hottest topic. Because when you break it down, even when you're looking at the podcast, people talking about relationship, all of these things are aspect of you or non-tangible part of you. I mean, I understand spirituality is sacred in a sense of, the essence. It's pure. It's getting to the source. Now, I get that. If that's what we're saying, oh, it's all of that shit. But it's also your regular fucking life. And as you dig in deeper into it, you'll get to find that treasure. But anyway, in a nutshell, spirituality, it's just your life, man. It's your life. It's being said so many different ways, and then you have the occult, then you have, the whole, let's just say, I mean, personally, uh, the way I this esoteric knowledge, meaning it's a knowledge that requires for you to go a little bit deeper into yourself. It doesn't deal with only the surface side of because I understand how the hidden culture could throw a lot of people off because you're thinking, like, what the fuck? Do you see what I'm saying? It might throw you off a little bit. And even hidden too, it's not like it doesn't have the proper meaning or the basic meaning, like keeping something away from you. That's not what that shit is about at all. I mean, that's not the idea. So I'm saying this to say I can understand how the hidden culture could throw something because I know it used to fuck me up. What the fuck? Oh, okay, okay. But now I can understand the hidden part of it, meaning it's not again, it's you got to go deeper. You got to go a little bit beyond just the physical aspect of yourself. And that's what the occult does. It is helping you. Like some of the basic shit would be to tell you you have a conscious mind and then you also have a subconscious mind. What that is doing right then and there is to help you to identify some shit that is not, your part of your conscious mind or not part of your regular shit or the visible shit that you see. Then we may talk about you have your intuition. What the fuck is that? You don't know what the fuck's happening. You may have some type of premonition or a message or whatever the fuck. Again, this is all part of you. So when to delve more into you, like to truly know your nature, is understand that you are a living mind, a living spirit. In fact, I'm gonna say this real quick because I started tapping into fucking astrology. It's all coming together. Like when you're dealing with astrology, right? So if you're looking at yourself as your true essence, that living, thinking mind, that star that you may be, well, guess what? Everything around you is not what it is. So you're dealing with different forces. That's why you have the different seasons. You have your eclipse seasons. All of this shit, like there's different type of energy that's being pushed out, and that has certain type of impact on you. That's when you may want to learn how to deal with those forces to turn them your way. I mean, but the mistake that I realize with a lot of people, especially when it comes to astrology, they tend to put it in a box. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'll give you a perfect example. Like, I talk about us. How we are a good representation of those elemental shit, right? Earth, fire. I mean, it's all part of us. Some of us learn a certain way. Some, like even our psychic ability is different. Some people use divination. Other people just tap into you. Or you could use smoke. I'm saying all of that to say, right? These things about us and the way we operate or a certain way we do our things, astrology now comes in. It's not to put you in a box. It's for you to understand what your quality and to build from it. If you're building from your strength, how can it put you in a box? Or how can it you even allow that information to put you in a box? And that's the misconception I see a lot of times when people are talking about astrology. Now, it does what it does. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. But I started tapping. We'll talk about that later because there's a lot more to talk about. So going back to the whole spirituality shit, it's your regular life. Then now you have the occult that's giving you a deeper understanding of the ordinary reality that you're going in. And the whole purpose is for you to know who you are. And that knowledge or that understanding of who you are, that's what's gonna set you free. And that's how you truly transcend matter. That's when it really doesn't matter. But anyway, let's jump into the shadow. The shadow, the shadow, shadow, shadow. Again, this conversation in itself too, it's a perfect fucking depiction of showing you the complexity that exists in us. Even when we're talking about marriage, even when you're talking about relationship, you understand that you're dealing with an aspect of us with a fucking understanding part of us. Do you see what I'm saying? So again, it all comes down to how are you looking at it too. See, when you don't have the deeper understanding of who you are, then you it could either set you free or it could enslave you. Right now, I'm just trying to set you free. But anyway, now going back to the shadow. Now the shadow, it's not part of your conscious self, but it's part of you. Now, if we're going back into the occult, if we're going, even let's just say, and let's just talk about the ego for a second. Even when you're talking about the ego, it's a part of you that you do not touch. It's a part of, well, your shadow also is part of that too. So when I'm saying that the shadow is part of you, but it's not part of your conscious self, it's not necessarily to defend, I mean to create a separation between. It's more like I'm trying to get you to see other aspect of yourself. And that's where the shadow comes in. And that's why in spirituality we talk about the shadow self. Again, spirituality is dealing with you, but the deeper aspect of yourself, the non-physical aspect of you. Then now let's get into this culture. Let's see how shit works. Because when you're talking about culture, it's how the whole thing it's been put together. So, all right, it's shadow self. Well, I already talked about that, but the reason why I want to talk about this a little bit more before I get into the projection part of it, I figured, it's important for you to understand, like, because your shadow self plays a big part of you. Not just your shadow self, it's like your whole self. To talk about you is to talk about your physical part and your non-physical part. To get to know someone, it's not just to know the person's name or let's just say the person, looks or physical appearances, but it's truly see what that character is, right? So again, even if you're looking at it from that perspective, when you're talking about your true nature, matter don't even matter. At that point, when you start looking at yourself like that, tell me if your physical body don't even matter. I'm trying to help you to bypass the fucking illusion. And that's how you transcend matter. Oh, that was on the house, baby. That was on the house. I'm trying to tell you niggas, man. And that's how you got to understand what this illusion is. But anyway, going back to motherfucking shadow, the shadow self. Mm. I mean, I talk about it in so many different ways, but I'm trying to find the best way that because keeping okay, nice for me to keep that in mind. But anyway, um, so when we're talking about your shadow self, right? We're saying the your spirit, your soul, however you like to describe it, it's going to express itself one way or another. So when you see, let's just say, even when somebody's lying to you, they still telling you the truth. I'm gonna break that down for a second because I'm trying to put this together here. Hold on, you can bear with me for a second because I'm saying different things on different levels, but ultimately it's all the same thing. But maybe I should keep it simple. So your shadow self, it's not part of your conscious self. It's just part of yourself. You know, when we talk about the ego, that's also another part of you. Now, a lot of us, we became like as we're going through this society, we've been trained on how not to be ourselves. That's why you see in life a lot of people will try to live our life based on who we should be instead of who we are. Well, there's a whole lot of consequences that comes with that state of mind. Some of those consequences are, let's just say now, if I'm living my life for your validation, then there's a certain way that I have to act. There's a certain way that you have to act. So then your validation, or let's just say your approval, would be based on the way you act. Then you become a people pleaser. You were trained to be that way, to be a people pleaser, to be average, pretty much. That's when everybody acts and does pretty much the same shit. Then at that point, you're losing a sense of creativity in you because your creativity has to do with you being in alignment with you. But I'm saying all of that to say there is a whole chain of events, or there's a whole world that is created and consequences that, and that's if that's what I would call the matrix. Then now school become part of us, the political parties and all of that shit. Then now you become concerned with only one aspect of yourself. At that point, you become one-sided. You're not balanced. You don't have. How can you see the bigger picture if you're looking at it from one side? So therefore, you are ignorant of your true nature. So that's the world that's been created in front of us. That's where all your greeds comes in. Motherfuckers keeping up with the Joneses and trying to please other people. That's where all that bullshit comes from. Money talks, man. Bullshit walk. Now, I'm not downplaying money at all, not at all. But I'm mentioning that because it became the thing. There's no amount of money over you. You make money. Money don't make you. Well, it could make a few people, but again, that would also comes down to their misunderstanding too, to their ignorance. You know what I'm saying? These niggas are printing money, man. Hey, they printed. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they do. You believe me, man. They just print the shit. Hmm. Yeah, they do. Google it. You don't believe me. If you don't believe me, Google it. So I'll be damned, to somehow put money above any part of myself. You see what I'm saying? And it's not, and I'm not being arrogant either. I mean, it's just a quality thing. I don't even. I'm not even sure if you want to call it a quality thing at this point. It's how you're looking at it though. You might be looking at it from a limited perspective, from a one side shape view. Well, you're always going to miss the big picture. But anyway, what does that have to do with the shadow self? Everything. Because now at this point, what's happening is now you're not dealing with your true self. And the true self, it relates, it has a direct relationship with the shadow self. Meaning, once you start to become in alignment with more with yourself more, then you and the shadow become one. And the same thing happens with your ego. You have a healthier ego. Your ego's good. Your shadow's good. You're partying with all these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So now let's go back to, because I wanted you to keep that in mind, because I'm gonna make a connection here because we were talking about the soul. Who you are or what you are always has to express itself. That's why our nature, in essence, we are love. When you're talking about love, it's to open up. Like naturally, we all wanted to be open. At one point, we all did. Then we started to close off due to fucking disappointments. And even when you do that, you are still talking because your nature is the truth itself. Give you a perfect example, right? In my last recording, I was talking about the ego through sex, money, and power. You know how, niggas, people be saying, can money pay my bills? I mean, can love pay my bills? Well, this is the shadow self expressing itself. This is your disappointed self expressing itself. Now, to other people who do not understand, they wouldn't understand that, you speaking out of toxicity, you speaking out of disappointment because love and your bills. What the fuck? Can water pay your bills? Do you drink water? Do you take showers? Do any of that shit pay your bills? You wouldn't say that. Why would you say it for love? Disappointment. So it's not that much of a big deal. This is what the big deal is. So you are expressing your weakness. So the spirit always expresses itself. Now that's why I always tell people never lie. That's why when you understand people energy never lies. That's why I don't even listen to people no more. Okay. Then if you could talk all you want, I already know. I already know. Otherwise, why would I be talking about this shit if I didn't know? I wouldn't be knowing what I'm talking about then. Energy never lies. It always expresses itself. Now, it's going to express itself either the healthy way. I could be like, hey man, it shit. Can love I mean, love doesn't have to pay my bills, money pay my bills, but I still need love. But express myself that way. Or I could express it the way you just said it now, which is can money pay my bills? You know what I'm saying? You know, I know how to listen to you. But that would be, but again, this is the foundation of our culture. Even in relationship, if you're courting somebody else, what you're dealing with is the battle of the sexes. It's domination. It's weakness and weakness fighting against each other. Who's gonna be the weakest? Because the weakest is gonna be the loudest one. You're looking to dominate somebody that you should be having an heart to heart relationship with to your greatest experience. You cheating yourself. That's pretty much what you're doing. Then you call it game. And at the end of that game, you always not fulfilled. In other words, you playing to lose. You got a losing hand, and you don't know how to play it. Oh, listen, I'll play a listen. That's another. I was that. Chill. Chill. I'm gonna mind my business. You know what I'm saying? Because I know how to play with a bad hand. Listen, again, what kind of game are you guys playing? But all of it is out of ignorance too. So, in so many words, before I even get into the projection shit, so I'm already showing you the shadow and how, because in my last recording and as part of this recording, is to show you that that's what you're dealing with all around you. It's almost like, yes, you see people on the physical plane, but if you to know somebody, truly to know who they are, then you're truly dealing with spirit that appears in a human form. And that's exactly what it is. But in addition to that, too, now you might be dealing with just that motherfucking shadow. Now the shadow gets to overpower you when you're not in connection with yourself. And the ego does the same thing too. That's when you see, like the weakest motherfucker is the loudest one. It's got to protect itself. It's the greatest act of fucking protection. If you don't know, you don't know. You may be scared by whatever the fuck, but those who know, like, damn, you weak. Yeah, nigga, you weak. When you know, you know. So that's what you're doing. But that's when the ego, the shadow. I mean, I guess you could use them from time to time, you know. But the bottom line of what I'm saying here, I want you to get to see another aspect of you that is not necessarily a conscious. It's conscious in itself, but it's not your conscious self. If that makes any sense. Because obviously, what we're doing here, we're because this is we're doing the shadow work. Nigga, we're doing the shadow work right here, right now, nigga. I'm taking you. This is a trip. We're taking a trip down the memory lane, right? Let's do a shadow together. Oh, gosh, sure. It's all good. You know what I mean? It'll do it. So now, when people are being triggered and all that, they're not aware. Because when there's a separation between the shadow, because now what's happening is your shadow and your conscious self are at war. That's why you'll see when some people are being triggered, they would probably tell you, man, I don't know what happened. Or sometimes when you're being drunk too, your shadow will take over yourself. Man, I wasn't too sure. I don't know what the fuck happened. I passed out. You know what I'm saying? But okay. Like at least sometimes they know that they do. But when you're dealing with the shadow, it happens so quickly that when you possess, sometimes you may not even know. And that's what you see when people are being triggered. And because of that, these people, when you may say they are in denial, which I would strongly agree with, all I'm saying is there's a little bit more that's taking place here than just them being. I mean, yes, absolutely. Yeah. However, there's a reason behind it. There's a whole world. There's a whole other stuff that's taking place behind it. So don't be stuck in that person just being in denial, but understand that there's greater shit that's taking place behind the veil or in that person's shadow, or that person is possessed, or their monster, the shadow, has taken over them. You also have people, I mean, well, I mean, shit. That's why a lot of people will tell you pretty much when it comes to your action, they could be they could be fear based or they could be love based. While the fear based is referring to your shadow self. But you, at the same time, I don't know if not 100% your shadow self. Just go along with it for a second. Because those, just I guess what I'm really trying to say here is that there's a disconnection when you're doing the shadow work. You are connecting yourself with your shadow. It's almost like you're telling, "Hey, little baby, come here." You healing that wounded child, that this is you acknowledging, no longer neglecting your certain aspect of you, and definitely not your fucking ego. I mean, and definitely that's why you include all of these motherfuckers. My ego is my best friend, my shadow, nigga. You already know. To heal yourself is to bring all of these different aspects of you together, and when they are not brought together, that's when you have a separation. That's when you have, what you call a dysfunctional type of deal here going on. So then at that point, when you're dealing with the shadow, and again, I'm referring to a conflicted shadow, right? Because, then you can never spot them. And that unhealed, that's why, you go see a shrink when you heal that wounded child, it changes everything about you. Then now your action, you create a whole chain of other events. Then you start acting out of love. Now you're no longer afraid, like the Batman, right? So you have to go back to the cage. This is the wounded child example there. Now he became the very thing that he was afraid of. Now he became that. That's a good story. I love that kind of shit. So it's like, oh, oh well, I guess I'm a storyteller. You know what I'm saying? But certain shit, it's like, I mean, well, I mean, that's the love for the words itself too, for the art of speech, the just everything. Oh, come on, it is a science. It's beautiful. But anyway, like this, that's a perfect depiction of, going into the cave, which is, symbolizes your inner self, or diving into your inner self. Where you want to define it. Again, the dark side of you, the hidden side of you. It goes by many different names. But I hope you're not, I hope you get the point though. So now a conflicted shadow generally derives from, a lot of us who technically, you know, refute us due to the way you've been trained because you've been rocked to sleep. That's why spirituality is not it's not part of your regular life. It may sound strange to you, like sure. Or I mean, a lot of us we look at it. I don't know. It's like you growing your hair and shit. I mean, it's all part of it. It could be a manifestation of it, but growing your hair or dress a certain way, that's not what spirituality is. You only become, I mean, you're expressing yourself through those mediums. Like for me to have the dread, this is the divine feminine that was, projecting herself out of me. You understand what I'm saying? That would be another conversation. But now going back to the shadow, now by now we're gonna delve into fucking projection. And there's just mm, mm. Now when we're talking about projection, because now that's why people keep looking for more. Living in a world where, if your accomplishment, this, I mean, this validates you, then, for you to feel validated, then you have to accomplish more. You got to do more, 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 and more. So, meaning you'll never be satisfied. Whereas all you got to do, like once you find out your true self, nigga, you drop the mic. You know what I'm saying? Now your accomplishment now is gonna be done on a whole different level. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and you even the art is gonna be better too because now, like, I do this with all my heart, wholeheartedly, because I'm whole, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I could give you quality shit now, even better. Anyway, let me stop. Uh, Now projection, that's important for you to understand because now what you're doing is, even in us seeking for success, right? You're projecting something out, something, like the very foundation of you projecting something out because you're seeking for it. You see, a lot of us we look. Oh, I didn't want to go there. Fuck, it had to be said. When you look, when you look up to the sky, man, there's a void in you. You're projecting that shit. I'm gonna leave that one alone. Saying then when you understand the call of the deep blues, yeah, it's enough. You know what I'm saying? You projecting God because you are God. And that's why the best way to talk to you, they talk to you through God. That's why they use religion to talk to you. That's why religion and that's why mythology, the whole Jesus shit, they used it for you to act the way you act. Because your God determine your behavior. Oh, it's all mental. You're just not too much of a good creator yet. You'll see every behavior, every way that a Christian act is the way that's what the Bible says. There's no other God than the only one God. Why would they be open to your God? That's not what that's not the message they got. And you know what else they'll tell you? Well, this is what it says in the Bible. You see what I'm saying? That's why you cannot argue with this motherfucker. He's in that bubble. They got him. This motherfucker's got. Yeah, you got, nigga. That's what the whole agenda is about. That's why the Catholic Church, that's why they push on you with the Christ, and this is how the God is. And you'll see it's a jealous God. Well, it's got to be one God. Why would you be receptive to other fucking religion? Guess what? Their gods do not speak that way. Oh, you're dealing with something a lot more profound here, my friend. I'm just trying to get you to be in control. You'd become the creator. And that's when you understand, oh, you'll be set free. There's no secret in Coca-Cola, man. It's got me with my Haitian shit now, man. There ain't no motherfucking secret in Coca-Cola, nigga. It's chemical and water. Add sugar if you want, if it's not chemical to you. You want to talk the media? That's why the media is fucking powerful. And ironically, too, sitting behind the camera, that's why the shit's powerful too. Any and everybody could see it. Oh yeah, that's why I got to put on for I got to put on for the divine. This is orchestrated. We get it. Come on, man. The great farmer, man. You know what I'm saying? The great archer. That's what we do. Now we're talking about projection. We all project ourselves. In fact, this happened between. I was having a conversation with my daughter. She was probably like 5, 4 or 5, and then there was this little kid across the street that she was playing with, you know. And then I was looking at the whole shit, and then later on she told me, "Dad got a boyfriend." I'm like, "Who? What? And who that?" Let me go get my machete on you and that nigga. Who that nigga? Because mind you, I was looking at the whole thing. So if I didn't know any better, or if I didn't see it, you would think they were kissing and all that shit. what she was doing pretty much, she was projecting herself because, they were playing together and some of the shit that the movies that she liked, that boys like those same movies too. And that's what makes him her boyfriend. I mean, there's a whole other science behind that too. But for just lack of a better term, I want you to look at how she's projecting herself, because she feels good. Well, that's my boyfriend. I guess we all do it to a certain level, right? But now when we're talking about the shadow, right? A lot of times we project, what we do on other people too. I'm saying, like certain people, right? Like when they talking about other people, and when their shadow self is talking about somebody that they hate, what they're truly saying, everything that they say about the person that they hate is everything that they do. So really, you get to see the shadows. They're projecting their shadow, and I got to witness that. Like you see, because I got a couple of haters. The shit they're saying about me is everything about them. So I'm clearly seeing how they're projecting their shadow. And a lot of us, due to ignorance or because we have not done the shadow work, listen, listen, it's either or, man. I mean, I know I talk about polarity, but when it comes to, it's like it's either you can't serve two gods, man. What that's saying is you cannot live your life based on two different gods. You can't. Nobody can. You may choose, but you can't. Like even myself, right? My God is more receptive. Well, it's it's the ultimate creator. So I embrace, let's just say Sufis, Gnostics, whatever Christianity. I embrace all that shit because it gives me the broader perspective. what the fuck? you know what I'm saying? So that's my God. I cannot serve any other God than that God. At the same time and serve another God. No. So again, when you look at Christianity, everything that they do, their behavior, that's what their God says. It's not a mistake. It's not like we always say the Christians they don't get along with other religions. Well, that's not the God didn't allow them to get along with other religions. Their God, the message was pretty clear. It's only one God. It's only Jesus Christ. It's all that. Anything else is bullshit. And then and then on top of that, the nigga's gonna tell you that this is what the Bible say. Like I give a fuck. Fuck out of here with your Bible. You see what I'm saying? You see how possessed the motherfucker is? Like some of like you may not even catch it if this is how influential that type of shit is. But yeah, man. I'm not falling for no okie doke, nigga. So now the motherfuckers got a book tell you, yo, this is what the great book says. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, he's the one validating the book, and he doesn't even know it. Because I could tell you right now, I mean, being in the perspective that I am, let me not use myself. To a Buddhist, your Bible means nothing. But you know what's crazy? See, that alone could give them a broader perspective. That's why this shit is not meant to put you in a box. How are you looking at it? You're free, you don't even know it. You acting like a slave. Nigga, you're free, nigga. Free. Free. You don't even know it. That goes to show you consciousness is the name of the game. Consciousness is the name of the game. This is your survival kit down here. That's what determines the quality of life that you live. The spirit of discernment. Well, how are you looking at it? Quality knowledge. Oh, creme de la creme. Again, this is all referring to your regular life. That's why it's important, man. You got to feed your mind correctly, huh? To become mentally balanced, you got to understand how the mind works. That's why I tell people, man, yo, celebrate Santa Claus, nigga. Why the fuck not? I'm gonna have my big red shit. Oh, nigga. Why the fuck no? In fact, you should create other shit. Whatever the fuck you want. As long as it serves your purpose. Because your Bible is serving your purpose. As limited as it may be, and you don't even know it. But you're giving it your all. Oh, man. Hmm, hmm. Yeah. It's you. That's why we're talking about level of enlightenment. Not to follow a crowd, not to follow a book, but enlightenment in you, a level of understanding your deepest, your consciousness, being aware of what's taking place around you or how you are creating shit around you. You are the manifest. I mean, do, don't we, the law of attraction, law of manifestation? Who's doing it? You let me know. So you see, this is what I'm saying. Like, you, a lot of us, we're just getting the fucking seek the kingdom of God. What does that say about you if we all have the ability or to use the law of manifestation? But again, in certain Bibles, in the Bible too, only in Christianity, it's like, you know, or even to be politically correct too. It's like being humble has to do with devaluing yourself. And humble has nothing to do with that at all. I don't have to look at myself as shit to be humble. What makes me humble personally, because I value myself, first of all, motherfucker, but I also understand I'm not going to put my accomplishment above you. You know why? Because there's no competition for me, because I follow my own self. And here's another one too. You know why also? Because nigga, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. That's why I don't even, what I'm saying? That's why I have compassion for motherfuckers. The people are perishing due to fucking ignorance. Why would I not have compassion for you? not a bully. I'm too secure. Now the bullies, like just like you always, are the insecure motherfuckers. The bullies are the insecure motherfuckers. The weak motherfuckers. That's why I don't even pay attention to them. Because I know if I get on you, come on. That's why you got to do what you got to do behind people's back. Because you pussy. You see what I'm saying? Like these motherfuckers, those are the people who doesn't like somebody. Why do you not like somebody and you hanging out with somebody you don't like? I mean, you don't even value your own self. How do you feel? Yeah, damn, man. Like I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? I don't like somebody. I don't have to hate you. But why the fuck would I be following you, man? Desperate niggas, man. The shadow self here. This is all shadow. The insecurity. The shadow experience. I mean, saying how weak they are, but they're making noises so they you may think that they're strong. But the reality is they're truly crying out. Fucking babies. And those are a lot of your criminals. Like personal experience, for instance, like came from a family like this shit's crazy, man. Jerry Springer at his motherfucking best. Jerry ain't got shit on me. I mean, when we talking about the level of dysfunctionality, having an insecure mother who's competing with kids. So you technically having kids, raising kids, and now this bitch is competing with me as a kid, even when I was more of a baby or younger, I should say. So therefore, knowing that she can't compete, now she has to sabotage, meaning now she got to create obstacles for me. I had to live through that. I had to deal with that type of shadow. But first, I had to do my own shadow work. So now, after recognizing my own shadow, I'm like, this bitch shadow ain't shit. 'Cause I've seen it before. You know what I'm saying? It's and automatically I'm able to forgive too because I know I understand. Now, me understanding doesn't mean, say, oh, niggas gonna be surprised. Oh man, a lot of people's gonna be surprised. They have no idea. They're gonna be surprised because they're gonna see a side of me they've never seen before. But they don't understand. I mean, I gotta be fair. Do you understand what I'm saying? Being kind-hearted doesn't mean you let other people walk on you. The fuck? Nah, man. That's violation. Oh, no, I gotta let you know. They don't know. So, this is gonna be your worst nightmare. I'm making sure of it wholeheartedly with no holding back. This is justice. with no hard feelings. It will be my pleasure. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Do what you do now. Keep working. Well, obviously, I'm still here, right? Okay. It's not going to be pretty, but it's justice, though. It's justice. Justice is that balance. You know what I'm saying? That's why they have, in so many words, well, that's why we have like a fucking police force. Because you got to deal with other people's shadow. And some of those shadows, I mean, once their monster had taken over them, they may not even be aware of what the fuck they doing. Like, you really have a lot of sociopath out there, bro. Like, real shit. Again, but you're dealing with those shadows too. You have Selena who killed her, man, because of jealousy. My mom wanted to do the same thing to me, man, because of jealousy. We have to realign that. We got to fix this. That has to be fixed. In the name of justice for everybody else to see it too, but also as a spiritual lesson. It's not gonna be on my end. It's not gonna be the fucking Selena lesson, nigga. Now I got a different lesson for you. Yo, how Wyclef said that shit, and I love that shit too. This nigga said, "Well, you know what? The same gun you would use to send all these motherfuckers to heaven, well, it's gonna be that same gun that's gonna send you to hell, nigga." Oh, you best believe that. They think it's a game. Ain't no going back from this, man. Like, this is really what it is, and what it's gonna be too. Got nothing to do with that, and everything to do with it. Mm. So, when we are projecting, especially from the shadow self, it's almost like, so some of these people, right, trying to steal my shit, then now everything they do, that's what they say I do. You know what I'm saying? Even a blind person would come like, what? Nah, nigga, like I tell them that all the time. Listen, man. Hey, yo, this is chess, man. You playing checkers. It's like that's how they telling on themselves too. They're lying and they're saying that I'm lying, and then also telling on themselves. You know what I'm saying? Everything they do, I see it. Give you another example. I remember, I don't know, this one time, I was talking with my baby mother. I mean, well, regarding, I don't know, it was my son or something like that, right? And then she said something to the effect of, I always play those kids in terms of giving them sugars just to get them to do to act a certain way because that's how she deals with them because there's no direct connection with the kid. You know what I'm saying? Because this bitch don't know how to be herself, being a people pleaser. Do you see what I'm saying? And even she's not even in touch with her own kids, obviously. So having a kid doesn't make you a mother, just like having a dick doesn't make you a man, or having a pussy doesn't make you a woman too, vice versa. That's why I always tell people, man, don't listen to these motherfuckers. You the prize. Nobody's the prize until you become the prize. You know what I'm saying? The grass is greener where you water it, motherfucker. If you go on the other side, well, good luck. But I'm gonna keep mine is gonna be greener because that's where I water the shit. Listen, I got a whole lot of crops. I'm the great farmer too. Plant a whole lot of shit, then I dig them later. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. What are we talking about? So what she was saying, projecting herself, and that's not the relationship I have with them. So I was just listening to her shadow self projecting herself, but also she was telling me that's how I treat them, referring to in her in her mind, she's thinking that's the disconnection between her and the shadow. That's the cat and mouse relationship. That that's the Fight Club. But again, to a nigga that sees, I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, first of all, I mean, shit, okay. Second of all, nigga, okay. Saying, but what I'm truly saying is like, I see, man. That's why we talk for the great listeners too. I mean, shit, okay. You're right, and she's right, because she doesn't have that direct connection, and she wouldn't be able to see what I do with them, or even the relationship that I have with them. And now you telling me that's how I'm doing. You're right, and it's coming from her perspective, and she's projecting that. She's not even aware of her projecting. That's why you see, like when you say niggas that be lying a lot, they be telling on themselves. Man. Trust me, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, man. Like this nigga here, man. You put gel in front of that nigga, he tell you everything you need to know. Woo! Those are the hardcore criminals. You put some jail time in front of this nigga, he'll tell you everything you need to know and more. See you dealing with these motherfucking shadows. Oh my god. It's unbelievable. But again, I'm trying to get you to look at your shadow self from a different perspective because that is the shadow work. See, a lot of us, like in that perfect example, what she was doing is shadow boxing. You know what I'm saying? You fighting your shadow. I use my shadow to what I'm saying, to make my punch better. You see what I'm saying? My stance better. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's when you align with yourself. Now the shadow is like you're using it to become more accurate. Now you're having a healthy relationship with self. You become the holy man, the perfect man, the balanced man. Not flawless, like perfect has nothing to do with not being able to make mistakes. That's flawless. But it's the perfect, it's the yin and the yang. It's the perfect combination. It's being mentally and emotionally balanced, nigga. Yeah, that's all it is. But anyway, dealing with the shadow self plays a very important factor in your consciousness, obviously, because now you have a direct, again, you see the broader picture. Then now you having a healthier connection. You no longer have a conflicted shadow. But when your shadow is conflicted, and of course it's part of you, but you're not acknowledging it, you when your shadow act, you don't even see it. You don't know it. You're always going to deny it. And that's why a lot of these motherfuckers are in denial. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, this is a simple math, guys. If you believing in yourself, you following yourself, you will not be jealous of somebody else, man. You cannot. And that's why I always tell you guys you cannot serve two gods. Not because you don't have the ability, but it's just not going to work. It never worked that way. If you believing in yourself, you following your own path, the shit you believe in for you. Like I know for me, that's why I don't give a fuck about nobody else. Not in a bad way. Oh, nah, shit, nigga. I'm aware. So I'm not saying I don't give a fuck, like I don't acknowledge, but this is my good for you, man. Congratulations, baby. Don't give up. You give them something they never seen before. That's what I tell them. Go get it. But I gotta walk my own path, man. So it's impossible. I cannot envy another motherfucker or be jealous of a motherfucker. You know, but you can do that because you don't see the prize in yourself, but you do see the prize somewhere else. This is you acknowledging that you a piece of shit. You have no self worth. I don't know. I mean, there's nothing to talk about that. Like when it comes to that, it's just that. I don't even want to go further. I mean, I talk about it for the science of ignorance because it's important for us. Because I work both sides. Like I always tell people, if you can't tell me how much you learned, well, nigga, you still stupid. Or if you can't tell me how stupid you used to be, because it's the same shit. How much you learned, how stupid you used to be. Now you have the ability. That's how we all grow. If you don't have a past where you were a little bit stupid or never stupid at all, and then somehow you're smart today, I don't believe that. I don't fucking believe it. That's okey doke, nigga. Yeah, that's boogeyman. I don't believe that shit. I believe in Santa. I don't believe in that. Fuck out of here. I believe in Santa. I don't believe in that. Oh, guess what? Your reality ain't real enough for me, nigga. Santa Claus is realer than you to me, and to real niggas too, if you understand. Again, this is for the great listeners. So again, dealing with the shadow self, I mean, it's a big part. I mean, your shadow work, it's a continual shit. It's a continual process. However, I mean, once you attain the Christ consciousness, the work becomes different. Now, the shadow, you embody the shadow now. Whereas in the past, that's where you hear the expression of you gotta slay your dragon. It's another way of saying you doing the shadow self, and they always go in somewhere in the darkness, to somehow fight or the demon or in some cage, in some, it's always being portrayed that way, and this is a great reflection of our lives, of our dark side of ourselves. Not dark in the sense of good and evil, just dark in the sense of, it's not, the conscious aspect of you or the physical part of you. It's not what you see with with the physical eyes. So again, hold up. Almost 2 o'clock. Um, shit, we're gonna close up, man. What was the other? So doing that's what we're doing now. We're doing the shadow work. But as I'm doing the shadow work, it's important to touch, like, check out my other recordings. Check out the money and sex thing, like, because on that one, I think, there was a lot of shit that was said, that was, you know, that was very good. Gems. There's a lot of gems out there. I mean, in that recording. But I'm saying that to say, to summarize pretty much, and what I was doing as, doing that shadow work with you is to show you the different, because once you're not in connection with yourself, you automatically not in connection with your shadow. And when your shadow steps in, you almost like you don't even fucking know what's going on. Because now instead of your shadow being on your side or, working with you, now your shadow has taken over you. That's what you see when people are being jealous. That's what you see when people are being envious. Or when you say such and such has too much ego, then he acted that way. So what? That was the ego acting, and I'm just saying this just to make the point, showing you how much when the shadow's acting, it's right in front of us. But now, how are you looking at it though? Now you may call it ego. You may call it their ego as at the best of them. Or when you say someone is stupid, like how you let stupidity, what I'm saying, fuck you up that much. Oh, yeah. Oh my God, how you let stupidity beat you up that way? Like the people are perishing due to ignorance. It's just ignorance that's fucking them up. But then now it's acting out. The shadow is showing that to you. It's projecting in this physical world. That's the projection of the shadow. Or you could call it ego for now if you want. And I'm saying that to say, just to make the point, just so you see that part of you, let's just say that non-physical aspect of you is acting out. And that's why when motherfuckers who are insecure, they're all the loudest one. See, a lot of times we look at it that way, but we don't see this is the shadow projecting out there. I met um this woman. It's like the whole conversation because apparently the spot that I went to, right? It's not necessarily ballers, but let's just say, some people with quality or people that got money that goes there. Okay, cool, dope. But anyway, I'm saying that to say, we were all having conversations, agreed to meet and shit. And then this bitch, it was all her shadow. That was just the minute she opened up her mouth, because everything she was talking about was just money, 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 money. I get it because I bypass all that shit. Come to find out, the bitch she got money now. She was raised poor, so she had to recreate like the part of her she recreated. I mean, it's just the money part, and her shadow was just from the moment it was just. Because I'm slick with my shit. I'm like, okay, we're gonna talk to me. Okay. Then when we get to dissect it all, and I got her to say it too, not me and shit. Nah, you just gonna back your shit up because I know who's talking to me. I ain't scared of your shadow, motherfucker. That's light work for me. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so then come to realize, I mean, you know, it's like why would you come to talk about money where just like I was telling her, man, anybody could buy a bottle here. Like she looked around too, and it, it was that it was that way. You know what I'm saying? So what are you doing here? What are you talking about? Then automatically, man, she started. Um, get your shit somewhere else, bitch. But I'm saying all that to say that's what you're dealing with on a regular basis, because ultimately you're dealing with spirit. Either those spirit are in connection with who they are, then they become spiritual, or I mean, or they're lost. But nevertheless, they're still spirit. You know what I'm saying? In fact, that's why I'm here. This is my job as a spiritual healer. It's to give you that medicine. You know what I'm saying? That would open up your eyes to help you heal, help you to see things in a deeper sense. But anyway, we're gonna leave it here. Lespri, you already know it's not but love, baby. Shin, Mali.